one of those curriculums that does not get talked about near enough, and it is Layers of Learning Writer's Workshop. Writer's Workshop is a family-style writing curriculum that is designed for ages 6 all the way up to 18. A fun part about this curriculum is that mom is actually included too. So you're not just going to be the educator, you are going to participate alongside your children. It's meant to be done family style in a more organic approach to writing. So you will be teaching the mechanics of writing through mini lessons, but it's meant to take the pressure off and get your kids creative and excited about writing. Curriculum comes with 9 units that you will use throughout the year. You use mini lessons to teach the mechanics of writing in a short and sweet way, and then you spend the majority of your time actually just writing together as a family. Because it is geared towards a wide variety of ages, you are going to want to adjust or pick the mini lessons and exercises that fit that child and where they are at in their learning. I do recommend that you are working on writing at least 4 times a week, but it is an organic approach, so you can find what works best for your family and fit it into your schedule. Let's take a look at everything that you are going to need to put Writer's Workshop into play. You will need the teacher's guide, which includes all 9 units that you will work on throughout the year at your own pace. You also are going to need to have a Writer's Workshop notebook for every student that you have, as well as mom. We spent some time putting these together recently, so I will show you. Here is my daughter's Writer's Workshop binder. You will need a journal that speaks to them. So any journal that is meant to bring joy and creativity to that child. The actual journal is meant to be private. There is no grading in here. If they do not want you to read it, you do not read it. This is just for creativity only. You are also going to divide your binder into 5 sections. So we will have another journal page with just some paper if they want to move their thoughts from their notebook here, or if they would rather use this paper instead of their notebook that day, they can do that. You also need to have a writing section. That is where, when they pick their project that they are going to put through the entire writing process and publish for a grade, they will start moving their thought into their writing section. So you will just keep moving paper as you go through this. Word work is something that once I get inside the teacher's guide, I'll explain a little bit more of, but it is part of daily Writer's Workshop. Then you will have writing helps, and this is where you are going to put a lot of the rules and mechanics that go around writing. And lastly, ideas. So this is where mom can help make a list of ideas, or as the kids come up with ideas, they can just put them back here. If they are struggling finding something to write, they get in their binder and they are all set. So very quickly, we have the same thing for my son, his journal, and all of his pages. And then here is mine. I also have a journal and all of my pages here. We are now flipped around, and I am going to show you inside the teacher's guide. The first piece of your teacher's guide is going to be the guidebook, which teaches you everything you need to know about using the curriculum. Inside the guidebook, they will explain your basics to Writer's Workshop, how to use the notebook, the word work, the handwriting and typing, mini lessons, the actual writing, how to evaluate, where you should begin, how to teach multiple levels at once, all of the levels of writing, roadblocks to steer clear of, and gives you some encouragement before you begin. As you can see, I have made a lot of highlights here, just helping myself understand the curriculum a little bit more. But one thing that is big in Writer's Workshop is taking the pressure off. So they have this pie chart here that you can see. This yellow is how much time is actually spent writing versus the handwriting, the sharing, and the word work and mechanics. The main goal is to get your kids writing and enjoying the process. Before you begin Writer's Workshop, you are going to want to set up a little writing center in your homeschool. That can include multiple types of paper, maybe some fun things that they can add illustrations with, all of your writing utensils, gel pens, pencils, colored pencils, like just give them the opportunity to get creative. They also give you a step-by-step guide for setting up your writer's notebook. They're going to break down every section of your notebook here. One thing that I mentioned earlier was word work. This is something that you are going to do every day of Writer's Workshop, and they give you so many ways to implement that. So you have written activities, manipulative activities, and physical and verbal. They encourage you to use activities from each of these categories throughout the week. And the whole point of the word work is to master their vocabulary, as well as spelling, etc. They do mention handwriting and typing here. They do not recommend typing until your child has mastered handwriting. But in order to get a published piece, especially as they get older, once they have mastered handwriting, you are going to want to start teaching them typing or find a program. The rest of the guidebook is kind of explaining the use of mini lessons. You also have the grammar, punctuation, the procedures, writing skills and strategies, the genre skills, and then they get into writing. They explain very well the writing process and break down each step for you. So we have pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, publishing, and sharing. They also help you with evaluating your child's writing. They tell you exactly where you need to begin, and they even explain teaching many levels at once. As you can see, you are going to start with modeled writing if you have a younger student. Then we get into shared, interactive, guided, and independent. I also love the encouragement they put at the end. Writing is one of those areas that we can feel a lot of pressure to master with our kids when they're far too young. And this is something that they feel very strongly about. Remember that writing is developmental. Now let's take a look at all of the units Writers Workshop offers. You are going to start every single year with the Jump Start. This is just a great way to refresh your writing skills before you get into all of the other genres. Top of every unit, you will have your key concepts that you will work through as you complete your unit. These blue sidebars are your mini lessons, and that is how you begin every single day. The mini lessons are where you are going to teach the mechanics and process of writing. So you will want to pick the ones that you feel like your child needs a little bit extra help with. They have so many options as you flip through. After you complete your mini lesson, you are going to get into the writing. That is where these exercises come into play. So you can pick any exercise to work on either one day, or one exercise may take 2 or 3 days. That is completely up to you. Do not overthink that. They do a really good job at giving you fun exercises as well as exercises that are really teaching the process of writing. So here is an example of one of the fun exercises. It is called Things I Love, and they want your child to make a list of things they love, draw a heart in the center, and write all of the things that you love all the way around it. Another one is daydreaming about any place you could go and talking about all of the things you might eat, stay, activities you would do, and then drawing a picture to illustrate it. As you get further in, you are going to want to pick some exercises, especially at the beginning, that are going to help fill up those writers' notebooks so that they can reference back to that as they get further into the curriculum. So an example of that would be making a parts of speech flip book that they can put into their Writers Workshop notebooks. You are also going to want to spend some time teaching the writing process, so I would definitely be choosing all of these exercises at the beginning of the year. So you have 9 units that you will complete throughout the year, and in each unit, your child will pick one of their ideas and take it all the way through the complete writing process. That means that they will pre-write, draft, revise, edit, and then publish. Their published piece can be something that they present to the family. You can keep it on your bookshelves. You can get really creative with what you want to do with their final polished piece of work. They also give you some great idea banks in the back of each unit. And they are going to help you evaluate your child's writing, which, if you're like me, can feel a little overwhelming. Let's take a look at all of the units that they offer. They have sentences, paragraphs, and narrations, descriptions and instructions, fanciful stories, poetry, true stories, reports and essays, letters, as well as persuasive writing. Remember, this is meant to be used over and over again throughout the years. You will not be doing every single mini lesson and every single exercise in the course of 1 month. So you will mark off the mini lessons and the exercises as you do them, and then the next year, pick some different ones. Or you can do the same ones again if it was something the kids enjoyed. I am now going to walk you through each unit and just show you some of the exercises that they have and what they are covering throughout the entire year. With sentences, paragraphs, and narrations, you will always start with your mini lessons, which will coincide with what the unit is about. You will then begin writing. The exercises are going to cover different types of sentences, building sentences, paragraphs, and narrations. They will pick their writing project, and they also give you an idea bank and help you evaluate their writing. Some examples inside of here for exercises are subjects and predicates, fragment to sentence, what makes a sentence, silly sentences. They have you build sentences here. There's some mix and match. They're going to talk about some punctuation, and they teach all the different types of sentences. And then you're going to get into descriptive writing. They truly have so many options for exercises in each unit. Like, you can truly go crazy with this. I think for me, what I'm having the hardest time with is how do I even pick what I want to do first, because there are so many fun ways to learn the mechanics of writing. Now let's take a look at descriptions and instructions. So again, mini lessons, then you're writing, and in your writing exercises, you are going to learn about descriptions, figurative language for descriptions, as well as instructions. You will do your writing project. They're going to give you your idea bank and help you evaluate. There are some exercises they have in here. So juicy sentences, that alone just sounds kind of fun. 5 senses, describe it, tiger on the prowl, sell it, dreamer. So many options in here. I also just want to show you the mini lessons so that you don't feel that they're just fluff, because they're really not. They are going to get into the nitty-gritty of writing. So here you can see you're going to learn about simile, metaphor, personification, idiom, hyperbole, alliteration, onomatopoeia, allusion, and oxymoron. And you have multiple exercises covering and reinforcing what they just learned in their mini lesson. All right, fanciful stories. Mini lessons, of course, and then your writing exercises, you're going to go over setting, characters, plot, theme, and story styles. You'll have your writing project, an idea bank, and evaluating. Over here, this mini lesson is going to cover all of the different ways that you can write a fanciful story. And then they have you making a story elements booklet. Setting, they give many exercises here, even a little hands-on project with this setting box. Or you don't want to make a box, you can do a map. So now we're getting into characters. This is cute. Protagonist versus antagonist. They can make a chart. This program is truly very in-depth, but fun, which writing, I mean, I just feel like kids are always pushing back on writing. And when I came across this, which my veteran homeschool sister is the one that originally introduced this to me, and they have used it for many years and have loved it. Here's some covering plot. Story mountain, looks like it's talking about the buildup and then coming back down. Theme, different styles. Here they're having you read children's books and then write your own. Super cute. So here's fancy. All right, poetry. You are going to learn about poetry and the writing process, different elements, the formula poems, free verse poems. And here's some of the exercises for poems. We have a heart map. How cute is that? Here's elements, wordplay, line break. How awesome is this? I can't write a poem. This is a great exercise to do as a group, especially to introduce list poems. This is a list poem where you list all the reasons you can't write a poem. Brainstorm all the reasons writing poetry is hard and write down every idea. At the end, your list of reasons is what creates your poem. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. All right, let's look at true stories. So you are going to do writing the truth, autobiographical stories, and biographical stories, and then they give you a few more true stories. Writing the truth is writing about real people, true stories, finding a plot. This should set them up really well if they have to start writing essays eventually, which there is a unit specifically on that, but this would be a good starter for that. Autobiography, looks like you get to do your own. All about me, real me, what I eat. Kids would love to make this one. We actually even have a book that we use when we're studying history and geography that has pages basically filled exactly like this. What I am noticing when you do this is like you're not just learning about writing, they are learning so much about themselves and others and just the big world around them. So you can do a family tree, talk about your history. Okay, reports and essays. I do believe there was a note talking about how if you have younger kids and you want to skip this one until they get a little bit bigger, that you can. But that is completely up to you. They did have exercises in here that could work for the little kids, but you are going to learn about expository writing skills, reports and essays, and then they give you your idea book. For example, I mean, younger kids could still do some of these exercises, just learning about fact or fiction, brainstorming. I feel like that's something good to talk about. They also do the webs. I still remember making webs when I was a kid. They're even going to get them looking inside some reference books and finding facts or labeling. Like this is all stuff that is going to cross over into your homeschool, not just in writing. They also went through outlining and finding evidence, comparing and contrasting. Here's your reports. You can make a mobile report or you can do a poster. So this is not like we're going to sit down with paper and do a bunch of writing. They are getting these kids writing in so many different ways. I just feel like this program is pretty genius. All right, let's look at letters. So you're going to learn parts of a friendly letter, more friendly letters, formal letters. My dog, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. More correspondence skills. They give you an idea bank. So you're getting into all of your exercises here. I love the friendly letters. You could probably take this really far and start a whole pen pal situation. Oh, look, it has them practice their signature. This is fun. We have gift tags, thank you cards, a letter to an author. And then if you have a typing, you could do emails. And then they're also going to talk about formal letters, business letters, political letters, letter to the editor, formal email. And the last unit is persuasive writing. They are going to give you the writing tools that you need, simple persuasion and advanced persuasion. Here are some exercises. Would you rather, fact versus opinion, hooks, rhetorical questions, arguments. Also, I just want to make note that while you do need to start with the Jumpstart every single year, because that's just going to refresh and get you back into the writing, you are allowed to pick any of these units in any order once you get started. It does not have to be done in a specific order, except the Jumpstart. It is worth giving it a look. It is going to be a fun but productive approach to writing, especially with those younger kids or if you have a reluctant writer. The best part is Mom gets to participate too. Head over to my YouTube, which is linked in my bio, to see a deeper look inside all 9 units with some more of the exercises that they are teaching.